Good morning. Today is the 26th of August 2024 and I'm going to go through my watch list and my levels for today. But before we start, as always, we will just look to see what news could move in the market today. Monday we had durable goods come in and we saw a slight negative reaction to that. Not much really. We haven't really got any news apart from a 2 out of 3 at 10:30, so be a bit wary of the Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index. And that's it. There's not a great deal of big news tomorrow, Wednesday, and then Thursday is a big one, GDP growth, and Friday. Okay, so let's take a look at today's levels. On my screen, it's the 1 hour time frame for the ES, and we're just looking back, looking to see where we were last week. I wasn't around last week. I've been away for the last 2 weeks. So it's kind of my first week back. I was here Friday and I didn't do too much really. I took a loss on Friday, but I was more getting back into the swing of things. Level wise, you can see this level here around 56.60 is a key area. I'm watching that today for 2 levels. I'm looking for a break and retest of the pre-market high. To take out that into all-time highs, which I'll just zoom out to in a second, or I'm looking for a rejection, but I want to see it break this upward trend line, and I want to see it come back and retest that area. So kind of where we are now, 56.60, but I want to see it break the trend line, come back, retest, and then look for the short. Excuse me. That's my key area I'm watching. Bounce wise, I quite like this area down here at 55.84 with area confluence, top spirits and bottom of Thursday's big move down. So I quite like the pull back into this region. Oh, it's a bit big. Let's go down. I like the pull back into that region for a bounce, 55.84. And if we see a bigger loss, I'm looking for another bounce. The only other area I can watch is probably 55.20, this area here as well. Let's mark this off. So you can probably see I've cleared my drawings off my chart, just tied up a bit. And that's it, we've got all-time highs, so our break and retest of 56.63. We've got a little bit of volume to the left into all-time highs, and we can watch that area for a potential rejection, because last time it was up there, we saw this big move down. And that's it really. Maybe we can watch the break and retest of pre-market low, and that will break that trend we just talked about, a retest up here for the short down. I've got an old alert there, so let's get rid of that. In fact, I'm going to move that further up, so if we break the trend line, then I will be hopefully aware of it. And that's it really for ES. When I get to the end, I'll go back and look at the order flow briefly. In fact, let's just look at order flow now, because it's looking a little bit interesting. So bottom corner, this screen here is what I mainly pay attention with when we're at levels. But one thing of note at the moment, we've got this potential bottom and then a higher low, but the cumulative delta has just been coming down and down. So there's a bit of a divergence right now, putting in a new low where we're putting in, and not putting in a new low here, we're putting in a higher low. So what does that mean? Potentially we could be seeing a bit of a reversal. Cumulative delta is still in the negatives as well, so I wouldn't really want to be buying longs while the cumulative delta is in a negative. It gets above 0, which is not off this chart. It gets above 0, so if we see a lot of buying coming in over the next hour, then we can look for the break and retest long. It's going to be a tough one because this is showing a bit of a negative cumulative delta, which means there's more aggressive selling than buyers right now, but the price is not reflecting that as well, hence why I could be looking at a potential reversal. This is a 2-minute chart here. We might be looking at an inverse head and shoulders pattern, so one to keep an eye on. Let's get back to my main screen. and that's where we are right now. So potentially we could be looking at a bounce area there. But like I said, I'm not going to be taking anything unless it goes into the pre-market low area for the break and retest short. Potentially a bounce area as well, that is 56 for 50, 56.45, or I'm really looking for a break and retest of pre-market high, and that's Friday's high as well in that area. Okay, let's look at SPY next. Exactly same levels, break and retest of 563 area. We're not far off. I think 564.82, all that area here is the all-time high. So we're within 1% of hitting all-time highs again. So looking for the break and retest of that area. If we break the trend line, looking for the break and retest of pre-market low around 562, and I'll be watching this area 555 for a bounce. And that's it really for SPY. SPX, if I'm going long, then I only want to go long on ES. If SPX is also looking like a long, if it's breaking above the Friday's high, then I'm happy to go long. If we're just below an area of resistance and I'm looking for a long, then it's going to be hard to get through, so I probably won't want to try and go long on ES. So let's just mark off and just make a quick change some of these levels. That's a key area there on SPX, 56.43. I think that must be 5700 as a key level. Is that all-time highs? Not all-time highs, it's a psychological number, so all-time high is here. Let's mark that off as well. 56.65, and then we do have a bit of a confidence area, and this gap down here as well. So watching that area and that area there are like, so these are the areas I'll be watching for. If I'm going to go long, then I want it to come back into that area for the bounce, and if I'm going to go short, I want it to be below the, you know, the levels as well. So keep an eye on SPX, NQ. Let's just clear the drawings. I like to have a, done it for the others, might as well do it for NQ. Looking a bit weaker than ES. I think there's earnings this week as well on Nvidia, potentially. I think a couple of other big ones. Right in this area, you see the point of control is right at the pre-market high. I quite like that area for a bit of a rejection, a double top rejection at 19,800. And then we can watch this area here. We can try and find a nice bounce area. What lines up with other pivots? Any place I can see was Friday's low, and that's more the local pivots, more recent pivots. I meant that one, these ones here. If we do lose this area, then we've got a big gap down as well. We'll be below the 200, so we watch for the rejection down as well. And let's draw the trend line. We kind of have broken the trend. And we've got that trend line there as well. Hang on. Just put that one in as well. Potential top. Yeah, and there's not a massive amount of things. Like all I can see is a break and retest. I meant, sorry, a rejection of this trend line. Also the point of control back down as well. So that's 20,000. Look at that psychological number as well. So rejection at 20,000. If we can get over 20,000, then we can look for the break and retest. Otherwise, we can watch for the bounce down here as well at 19.3591, and that's it really on NQ. QQQ is going to be the same. Let's just clear drawings. Oh, this drawings I want to get rid of, indicators I want to keep. We've been, look at the RSI. We've been overbought for some time. Bit of a pullback. I'm not sure if that's the correction we want. Let's just draw the trend line in as well. So we've broken that trend line. Came back and retested it. potentially it's a head and shoulders pattern. We've got left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and then the retest short. So I do quite like the relative weakness compared to ES on NQ, so maybe watch for the break and retest of pre-market low. Let's zoom in a bit. Yeah, if we get below 478, 479, we can watch it for a short. That's it, and then we can watch this area for a bounce as well. 474 bounce, break and retest below 479, and it's hard to go long because of the previous pivots and the volume to the left. I don't really want to see any longs. If we can get back over that pivot, 485, we can watch to go long. It means we're holding the trend line, but that's it really for QQQ. Next up is crude oil. Oh wow, look at that. Looking really bullish right now. So we've broken the trend, inverse, in fact more significantly, we've got this inverse head and shoulders at a level we've been watching. It's a level we've had in place for some time. Had this level in place as well. We put in the right left shoulder, put in the right shoulder, and we retested a few areas in that as well. So Thursday, Friday, we probably would have missed a lot of the move in the pre-market, but that's the entry there. Bit of a pullback, testing the 8, and we're looking pretty extended, coming into a level now. So keep an eye up here, 77.45 area for the rejection, and then we can watch for a bounce where the point of control is at 76. Gold, still looking bullish as well. We talked about this on Friday. In fact, I had a bit of a hiccup on Friday. I did realise my video wasn't recording, but we've broken out over this wedge, and we were holding it in the upper half where we broke it again, came back down, came back through, retested it, and now we're looking to break out. So I quite like the break and retest of pre-market high, or even the pullback into Friday's high at 25.55 or 25.63 long. No rejections on this one, looking pretty bullish. And come back to gold again. Again, we're still within the same wedge pattern. We're definitely holding the pattern. We've been holding it down here, we've been holding it up here. We can watch for rejection at 78.88, and obviously one we just spoke about, 77.45. RTY looking pretty bullish as well. I quite like the rejection up here. That's a daily level by the looks of the yellow line, 22.74. Let's have a look at daily, see where that comes from. Okay, so we've got bottoms of pivots. It's not a great area, but the top of that pivot, and we did test it. So yeah, we can watch this region for rejection. Let's go back to the hourly. You can see previously in August we physically, that's why I like drawing these channels in and holding them, because even though it broke it and we missed the play, it came all the way back in and retested that channel, and look at that, straight back up. Swing trading RTY would have been great. Level wise, that's the only level I'm watching really for rejection, 22.74, and the bounce down here at 21.88, back down here. Okay, so YM next. We've got quarter of an hour before market opens. Again, YM is, this is the Dow Jones. It's broken this wedge pattern. So we've got this yellow line there, that's a daily level, and this is our hourly level. We broke out, came back and retested it perfectly, like right on the penny, and broke out again. So I quite like the bounce around 41. Let's get my line in, that's better. This area here, I quite like it to come back into that region for the bounce. At a rejection point, that pivot there. Let's just zoom out a bit and see what we can see. Not sure why I can't zoom out. go to daily. And a big daily uptrend as well. So yeah, I still quite like the bounce down here. We've already had one bounce in the daily, or the break above. Let's see, there's not much volume up there, so I quite like the pullback and then the continuation. That's it really for YM. Bitcoin still well within this wedge, this channel. Again, I like drawing these channels in. Watch for the rejection at 66,500, or if we break it and come back out, we can watch it for the breakout. You can see I've got a small Bitcoin position. You can see where I've taken some profits and I added back in again. Missed this ad, probably wasn't around for that. If we come back down into this region, I'll be looking to add again. So it's only a small amount I've got. Or we're watching for the break and retest out of this channel to continue. But if you look at it on, leave it on the daily, but on the weekly it's clearer. We've got this massive big cup and handle pattern, which is a really bullish pattern. That pattern there, that's the handle, and then we're waiting for it to break out from the handle. So looking good. I've gone through some order flow already on ES. Again, we've got a bit of a divergence in place, so I'm just going to go back to that. You can see we've got the price action. Looks like it may have put in a bottom or a reversal, but we've got negative cumulative delta, and it's well below, it's all in the negatives as well. So potentially there's a reversal happening around this point. Or it could be, let's go back into the hourly. Yeah, potentially if you look at the hourly flag, if you look at the hourly, there's a bit of a bear flag. So we've got this move up, I'm putting in this pattern, and we might be looking for another move up, hence why I'm watching for the break and retest of the pre-market high. And I'll just quickly go for my levels on ES, that's what I'll be watching the most. Okay, break and retest of 56.64, that's the pre-market high, Friday's high area. I'm looking for the break below pre-market low at 56.45, and I'll watch for a bounce down at 55.84. They're the levels I'm really watching today. I'll consider rejection up here as well, not only a break and retest, but with confirmation. But I really want to see it break this trend line and come through, come back up and retest, and I'll look for a rejection. So in fact, if we break out, that's my prime. I'll be going for break and retest long. If we don't break out, I really want to see it come back up. I don't want to see it put in a V shape like that, because you know that's hard to trade. I want to see it put in a double top with a slightly lower high, bit like this, come back down, break into that area, and then I'm looking for that area there, either the sell setup or even the break and retest into that region to continue it down. And that's it. Okay, trade safe. On my other stream is the order flow right now, and it looks a bit like this, and that's live until the market closes.